Well, we welcome you a minute early here inside the HEB Center at Cedar Park. Thrilled to have you with us for our inaugural broadcast on Switch. And a third night with the Austin Spurs for the San Antonio Spurs signee Derrick White. Off the mark with that one, rejoined the Spurs in time for their second matchup this past weekend against Santa Cruz. RGV and Austin colliding for a second time this regular season. They'll meet 4 times here in the Southwest Division. Of course, RGV last year, your runner-up in the NBA G League. And a shot clock violation will help bail out RGV. Otherwise, that's a breakaway layup for Austin. So each team scoreless on their opening possession. Ball back over to White and the Spurs. Spurs wearing special uniforms tonight here at home for the Season of Giving game presented by Toyota of Cedar Park, benefiting the United Way of Williamson County. Here in Central Texas, we are just north of Austin in Cedar Park. Blossom game, able to go with the power dribble and finish. Spurs with the opening advantage here at home. Third straight home game for the Spurs. They'll play one more this upcoming weekend on Sunday. I guess it is the weekend now. We'll be over on NBA TV. Kick out to the wing. Ball tapped away, stolen by Austin. Johnson, give back, and fired through by the 7-footer, Amina Brima. And again, we welcome those of you tuned in on Twitch here, not quite 2 minutes in. As at the line is Isaiah Hartenstein. Hartenstein, the 7-footer out of Eugene, Oregon. Mom from here in the States, dad from Germany. Dad, a basketball coach over in Germany. Played some overseas before the Houston Rockets snagged him this year in the NBA draft. Hanlon will be bumped out of bounds, and there's your first foul early on against Tyler Lydon. Take a look at your starters. Mentioned Hartenstein from the Houston Rockets. You've got two-way contract players, including Bronte Weber, Demetrius Jackson, Monty Morris. And of course, those two-way contracts, a new element this year in the NBA, expanding the rosters from 15 to 17. Of course, you can only have 13 active, but it allows a little bit more flexibility and a little more security for some of these players. Again, Lincoln Rose with you here in Cedar Park. As ball will continue this way, and it's going to be another foul, this time on Hartenstein. Vipers are 14-4 on the year. Here is your roster for Coach Blake Ahern. Johnson and Hanlon, your guards. Drawn Blossom game, and the San Antonio Spur, Derrick White, in the starting lineup. Again, for a second straight outing with Austin. Brima, your starter in the post. They'll call a moving screen on Brima. That's already his second. Chance for RGV to grab its first advantage. And stepping on the sideline, a turnover by Bronte Weber. Weber led the nation in steals when he was at Virginia Commonwealth, playing then for Shaka Smart. That was back in 2014. Mentioned he's one of your two-way contract players from the Houston Rockets. Spent this preseason with the Lakers before being waived. Here's Olivier Hanlon from Boston College. Up top again to White. White tried to work around a screen. Blocked from behind, and it'll stay on this end with 9 to shoot. Low scoring start. You see Hartenstein with those cupping marks that people really became familiar with during the Summer Olympic Games, especially with the swimmers. Jean-Charles came on for Brima after Brima picked up 2 quick personal fouls. Livio, a capable starter in his own right in the post, also a former UConn Husky, also at 7 feet, just like Brima. Dumped in, Hartenstein with a high percentage drop through the rim. Vipers back within a pair. Again, Vipers head coach Matt Bronzy back at the helm. Austin Spurs have a first-year head coach. Blake Ahern, a familiar name if you have followed this league for several years. He was your D-League Rookie of the Year back in 2008. Of course, now the G League. Would go on to be All-Star MVP of the G League game in 2009. And was with the Santa Cruz Warriors in 2015, part of the campaign in which they won their most recent G League title. White with the air ball, right into the lap of Hartenstein. Up ahead, Hunter pulls the trigger. The tripper won't fall. Back the other way. White behind the back, able to finish. They tried to knock him off the dribble. And again, White, his second game back with Austin after the wrist injury that he sustained in his first trip to open the season here in Austin. Hartenstein trying to show off his range. Rebound by Blossom Game. Drawn Blossom Game out of Clemson, where he averaged 13.5 points a ball game, all ACC, Atlanta native. And White trying to force the issue. Now the rebound comes down to Leiden. Morris with 3 Spurs focused on him. Leiden step back 3, dances around, won't go. Rebound by Nick Johnson. Nephew of Dennis Johnson, the Hall of Famer who won 3 NBA titles. Also is the namesake of the G League Coach of the Year award. And your first triple of the night belongs to R.J. Hunter, the 24-year-old who played for his dad, Ron Hunter, over at Georgia State for 3 years before leaving dad and the university a year early for professional basketball. Spurs hanging on to a 1-point lead, led by as many as 4. Jean-Charles step back along the baseline is good. Over the 7-footer Hartenstein. And Hartenstein misses the bunny. Jean-Charles with the rebound. From the elbow. Livio Jean-Charles, one of the few returners this year for the Austin Spurs. A new look roster. Right now, things are clicking against an RGV squad that's 14-4 this year. Also clicking the other half of our broadcast team for the first time tonight. We check in with David Christopher on the sideline.
Walking on hollow ground tonight, the very first ever NBA G League broadcast on Twitch, the world's leading live social video platform. Share, comment, and interact with us to earn those loyalty points. I'll be back at halftime with interviews with both those coaches. Now back to you, Golden Glove, and all those play-by-play and color commentators at home. Show us what you got. Get in the game like never before.
All right, thank you very much, David. Again, over on Twitch. Big Twitch personality, Golden Glove, also with the call tonight. A 12-7 start early on had RGV slightly concerned. As early on, the Spurs are 6 of 11 shooting, that's 54%. RGV 3 of 8, a slow start so far. They have hit the game's lone triple. They're 1 for 5. Spurs have only pulled up for 1 shot thus far. And again, we mentioned a lot of kids' involvement tonight. The first 500 kids received a stuffed animal from PetSmart. Big thanks to them. All this part of the season of giving. And you see custom uniforms tonight for the Austin Spurs, benefiting the United Way afterwards here in Williamson County. Well, coincidence tonight, Austin and RGV colliding later on tonight over on ESPN. You'll be able to catch both their parent clubs meeting as the Spurs and Rockets at 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern over on ESPN. You can stream us and tune in to them at the same time. So the Spurs lead was down to 1. It was 8-7, a little 4-0 run here for the home squad Spurs. Hanlon up top to Julian Washburn, who comes off the bench tonight. Hanlon, little kick out, left his feet before he knew where he was going with it, and it's a turnover stolen by Chris Walker. And Walker's pass is off the mark, looking for Leiden, looking for the former standout for Syracuse. Another turnover early on for RGV. Mentioned RGV off to a great start. They've won 14 of their first 8 games. They are your top team in the Southwest Division, ahead of the 9-7 Spurs. Hanlon, three-pointer won't go. Jean-Charles in a sea of red jerseys, and he's going to have it poked away. And this ball kicked out of bounds by the Vipers. RGV early on here leads the league in scoring, leads the league in rebounding, number 2 in the league in assists per game. But they're also giving up a lot of points in some track meets this year. 22nd out of 26 teams in opposing points per ball game. And White with his first 2. Again, White, the former Colorado Buffalo, where he played his final year. His first 3 years were Division II on a room and board scholarship for Colorado Springs. Austin the other way after the turnover. Julian Washburn, extra pass underneath, a little too unselfish as they'll step back. Still plenty of time to shoot. Driving White, forgot the basketball. The other way in the transition as Weber will be fouled and get the bucket. Free throw coming up for Briante Weber. Mentioned former standout at VCU last year in the NBA G League with Sioux Falls, part of the Heat organization. He would be ultimately named all G League team, all defensive squad, and an all-star. In fact, eventually the Heat sent him to Golden State, and Golden State, just so that he could play in last year's all-star game, sent him over to Santa Cruz. Never would actually play for Santa Cruz, but allowed him to take that week off for the festivities. Hanlon, baseline. Kick out, Ledbetter. Thought about the 3 from the corner, still 8 to shoot. Extra pass, open is Washburn straight away off the front iron. And Vipers can cut into the Spurs advantage here, possibly pull it within 1. And a walk, another turnover by RGV, this time on the wing. So Nick Johnson running the point. As it winds back up with Nick. Straight away, step inside the arc, and it's good. A long 2 for Johnson now in his second go-round with Austin. Of course, he is a former RGV Viper when he was a part of the Rockets organization. And quickly pulling those 2 points right back is Demetrius Jackson. Native of South Bend, Indiana, did not have to go far for college as he played for Notre Dame. Hanlon matched up with Weber. Washburn up top. Ledbetter, who made this team last year via tryout, where he had to pay to try out for the team. Now back this year as a returner. A nice job right around the defense, including the 7-footer, as ultimately the finish with the right hand for R.J. Hunter. Hunter's 19th game on the year, averaging about 30 minutes a ball game and about 20 points per contest. A nice ratio there. Ledbetter looking for some offense. Got it. Finally, a 3-pointer falls for Austin. Not quite 9 minutes into this opening quarter. Oh, nice confident drive. They're going to call a foul, a little late whistle. And after the break, we will have free throws coming up for RGV. So Olivio Jean-Charles off the bench for a Brima with 2 fouls early, picks up his first. 19-14 our score. As first free throw for Leiden. Lydon 8 of 12 from the free throw line coming into tonight. He is an assignee from Denver. Again, Denver is one of the few teams left without its own G League franchise. Not quite a 1-to-1 ratio. 26 NBA teams have G League franchises. But with the flexible assignment rule, it allows Denver to make its players available to any G League program. And RGV back within 4 after that last foul. Nick Johnson in the front court. Timeout called by Blake Ahern. We step aside with 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Austin at home for its 3rd straight contest. Part of a 4-game homestand that'll continue against Canton on Sunday. A 4-point lead against RGV here tonight. Their 2nd of 4 meetings this regular season.
There's a reason this season can't come soon enough. Why NBA history is always being rewritten. And why this game is about more than just basketball. There's a reason this fall is going to be hotter than the summer. Why 2 seconds can feel like an eternity. And why any city can become the center of the universe.
Follow the latest NBA prospects with the NBA G League app. With custom news feeds, highlights, and more, it's all you need to keep up with the game. Download for free from the App Store.
Spurs have led by as many as 7 here in this opening quarter. Right now that lead at 4. Lincoln Rose with you inside the HEB Center at Cedar Park. About an hour up the road from San Antonio. And Ledbetter with his 2nd triple starting to heat up. And that lead back at 7 for Austin. Spurs have not trailed. Last time we were tied is when we were jumping for the ball to begin this ball game. Lewis. And Julian Lewis, who started his college career at the University of Texas nearby before wrapping up at Fresno State, able to connect with his first shot of the night. Johnson to White. They'll double down on, again, the San Antonio Spur on assignment for a 2nd straight ball game. Again, White had returned to San Antonio when he was recovering from the injured wrist. And a foul from Lewis while Nick Johnson was shooting a 3. And that is one of your least favorite fouls if you are the head coach of the team defending. 3 free throws coming up for Nick Johnson. Austin Spurs tonight had yet to shoot free throws until now. RGV tonight is 2 for 4 from the line. And the first one good for Johnson. Again, Nick, the 24-year-old who played his college ball at Arizona. Of course, other Arizona ties in this matchup. RGV head coach Matt Brazzi's grandfather, Lute Olson, longtime legendary coach for U of A. And the final free throw won't go. Blossom game with the offensive rebound. Lead at 6 right now for Austin. Washburn, pass to White, 5 to shoot. And finally RGV with a defensive rebound. Will spin inside. And too strong, never hit glass. And White will finally come down with it. Derrick White, quick pass into Blossom Game. One-on-one in the post. Finally got some help from behind from Leiden, but too late. Blossom Game able to finish. Drawn at 6'7", an affiliate player this year. Spent time in the Summer League in Las Vegas and Utah, averaging 5 points, 5 rebounds. He's one of the few players who actually participated in 2 separate years of the NBA Combine. Was able to return to college after the first one. As the Vipers shoot with 1 second to spare, rebound to Blossom Game. RGV is one and done. Uncharacteristic start here for RGV. Washburn wide open in front of the Spurs bench, won't fall. Right past 3 Spurs defenders, the kick out. Baseline and offensive foul will be called against Demetrius Jackson. As Jackson had the odds against him. He's one of your two-way contract players from the Rockets this year, along with Briante Weber. Mentioned we also have Tyler Leiden, assigned from the Nuggets tonight, and Monte Morris, a 2-way contract player from the Nuggets. White slips it into gear. And able to get it past the outstretched right hand of Hartenstein. Backing in. A little offensive rebound. Put back and nice persistence. Pays off for Monte Morris, former Iowa State Cyclone. Made a couple trips to the Austin area back in his college days in the Big 12. Morris taken by the Nuggets in the second round, 51st overall selection this past summer. Shot clock turned off, final 5 seconds. Little wraparound won't go, but free throws coming up for White to try to close out this opening quarter for the Spurs. First free throw for White, good. White this year 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Hopefully you can do that math. Now 9 of 11. Final seconds and a foul before the shot by Derrick White. Trying to limit the opportunity here late for RGV. 0.2 seconds will not be enough time to accomplish anything. Have to have at least 0.3. The moment this ball is touched, let's see if they add time. They're going to say 1.8 seconds belong on the clock. And so that means there will be a chance to score here for RGV. So 1.8 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter. RGV just trying to cut into a 10-point deficit. Jackson fires up a 3, won't go. So the Vipers come to town, have only lost 4 times. But that includes the last matchup against these Austin Spurs back on November 8th. Spurs trying to do it again here before the end of 2017. You're watching the NBA G League, 1 quarter complete here in our inaugural broadcast on Twitch.
Here, in this league, we're not okay with strong. We go stronger. We don't settle for fast. we go faster. We don't want next. We want next level. Here, we go all out. Because we're all in. This is our league. And here, we don't go for good. We go for great.
Second quarter underway here in Central Texas. Texas, of course, 3 G League teams coinciding with their 3 NBA teams. Texas Legends with the Dallas Mavericks. These RGV Vipers with the Houston Rockets. Strong move to the basket, won't go, but the follow-up rebound and score from Hartenstein. The Houston Rockets rookie, just 19 years old, Hartenstein, mentioned born in Eugene, Oregon, where his dad played college basketball, but his dad from Germany. White out to Ledbetter. 4 to shoot, looking for another 3 to kick off the second quarter in style. Ledbetter with the first 3 points for the Spurs here in the second quarter. And Hartenstein with another high percentage finish. Just forces it through. That three-pointer from Ledbetter a moment ago made him 3 for 3 today from beyond the arc, giving him 9 points overall off of the bench. Hartenstein just picked up his 3rd whistle, and that will mean he will be out of the equation for a while. And Chris Walker will return. Nine-point lead. White goes right into the body of the defender, Chris Walker. No whistle, as White will pick up the 2. And another stoppage in play on this end. That's one of our officials, Danica Mosher. Our 3-person crew, Jason Goldenberg, along with Charles Watson. Again, the first month of the G League season, one of the rules they experimented with was having 4 officials. That would last 1 month. And we are back to the standard 3. And of course, we always have several thousand unofficial officials in the crowd. As they talk over the last call and its implications. See if any of them want to hop on the Twitch chat. 23 seconds on the shot clock is the outcome of that discussion. Demetrius Jackson pulls the trigger, sends it into Morris. Trailing by 11. And Morris will cut that down to 9. White into Jean-Charles. Jean-Charles, former draft pick out of France for the San Antonio Spurs. Again, stripped away. Jackson brought it up the floor. Morris looking for an avenue. Morris, step back 3. Got it. Took half a lap around the rim before dropping through for Monte Morris. Back within 6 now. RGV looking for another stop. Trailed by 10 after 1. Inside, Costello. Costello with a beautiful touch. Oh, the big man with the soft hand sends it into Jean-Charles for the finish. Matt Costello, one of your 2-way contract players with the Spurs this year. Former standout, Michigan State. And RGV able to find a quick answer from RJ Hunter. Hanlon into Costello. Back to the basket. And they're going to get a defensive foul before the shot on Julian Lewis. So Leiden will come back on for RGV. And Ledbetter among those coming off the floor for the Spurs. Johnson, Washburn, Hanlon, Costello, along with Jean-Charles, your 5 for the home team here tonight. Currently on the hardwood. Costello with 4 Vipers around him. Washburn, one of the men left open, and it won't go. Rebound by Leiden. Leiden on the offensive end. And ultimately a turnover. And they will call a foul. A little frustration there for Briante Weber after turning the ball over. A Blossom game in now for Jean-Charles. Austin will lose a little size on the court. So of our 3 7-footers, none of them on the floor right now. Costello sets the screen after the handoff. Johnson off the mark. Costello sprints in, gets the rebound, and they'll say he stepped on the baseline, as Costello thought he may have been nudged. Ball back over to the visitors from the Valley. Again, the Rio Grande Valley, about as far south as you can get in the United States before crossing the border with Mexico. Of course, the Rio Grande River, our natural border. 5 to shoot, able to get it out in plenty of time. Another 2 points for Briante Weber. Again, mentioned Weber saw some time this preseason with the Lakers before the Rockets gave him a 2-way contract. This is the first year that 2-way contracts became available, benefiting both the NBA and the G League. Foul underneath on Austin. And let me correct myself, it is on Leiden and RGV. Spurs will call a timeout. Their lead is down to 4 after leading by double digits entering this quarter. So 37-33 our score with 7:41 to play here in the second quarter. You're watching the NBA G League live tonight on Twitch.
He will dunk over a Houston Rockets power dancer, Casey. Now, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, please do not attempt this at home. Drum roll, please.
.41 remaining in the opening half. Lincoln Rose with you here on Twitch tonight inside the HEB Center as the Austin Spurs hosting the RGV Vipers, their Southwest Division rivals. They'll play 4 times. This is already the second meeting. Spurs got the better of the exchange in South Texas. And how about an elevator to the penthouse for Jerron Blossom game? Got up in a hurry for the alley-oop. Another look. Nick Johnson finds Jerron. And we'll quickly have a foul on the other end. So again, 6-point lead for Austin after the alley-oop. Spurs have led by as many as 11. Blake Ahern had called that previous timeout after the lead shrunk to 4. And just a nice job by Briante Weber getting the defense a little off balance. And that's 2 more for Weber. He has 7. Leading scorer for RGV with 8 is Hartenstein. But of course, if you're watching on Twitch, you already know that. You have access to the stats using the sidebar. Washburn off the bench while Derrick White's in town. Johnson's pass poked away, and shot clock should have at least 1 second. They will put 1 back on the clock. No violation yet. So Brima's back on with his 2 fouls. He comes in for Costello. And White with the catch and release. They'll say he did get rid of it in time, but it's a violation, never hit the rim. (39-35) our score with 6:50 to go here in the opening half. Austin has not trailed. For the most part, statistics, percentages have started to level out. Shooting from the floor, shooting from beyond the arc. Only difference right now, really, free throw performance, as RGV has this back within 2. Blossom game, over to White. Blossom game matched up with Morris. And Morris, his hand's a little too active, will be called for the foul. So Jerron Blossom game back at the free throw line. And his first free throw won't go for the 68% free throw shooter. An affiliate player for San Antonio with now Austin. Was drafted by the Spurs, 59th overall this year. And a second free throw, much better. So the Spurs back to a 2-possession ball game. Midway through the second quarter. Weber picks up his dribble, able to thread the needle into Leiden, who is slashing to the bucket, but a foul called on Austin. This was 30-20 after the first quarter. And RGV has nearly doubled up the Spurs to try to cut back into this deficit here in the second quarter. First free throw for Leiden, good. As you get another look at the foul called. Tyler Leiden now 9 of 13 from the free throw line this year. And the rookie now 10 of 14. That's on the season. Jeff Ledbetter, a perfect 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, goes in for a closer look and gives it up. A little foot race the other way. Weber with 2 Spurs defending him. Poked out by the 7-footer. Washburn with the rebound, courtesy of Amita Brima. Long 3 straight away. Derrick White connects. That is the 4th 3-pointer for the Spurs here early on. And Hunter with the answer on the opposite end. If he had been about 2 feet closer, that may have gone in. So 5-point lead, 5.5 to go till halftime here in Cedar Park. Ledbetter fires it in. Brima fires it through. Again, the former UConn Husky won that national title with them in 2014. And if you let him get that close to the basket, you have no one to blame but yourself. Washburn, quick hands. Washburn lays it up, and Jerron Blossomgame goes up to get it again. And we've seen two of your more impressive dimes of the night favor the Austin Spurs in their quasi-tacky sweater apparel this evening. Blossomgame pokes it over the near side. This can be out of bounds. Stays with RGV. 3 to shoot on the shot clock. Well, they're going to need to have a promotion here in town. Let all the fans try to lob one above the rim to Blossomgame. He's had a couple of on-point alley-oop finishes. White the other way against 3 Vipers. And he will take those odds. Timeout RGV, as head coach Matt Bronzy wants to talk things over. They had narrowed the gap to just a single score. Now they trail by 11 with 4:12 to go here in the opening half. You're watching the NBA G League tonight on Twitch.
Toyota of Cedar Park, built for satisfaction, built for service, built for you.
Experience the difference at Toyota of Cedar Park's all-new service center.
You'll be promptly greeted by one of our service riders. Within 15 minutes, you're going to receive a text message from the technician showing you the multi-point inspection. You're going to also get a complimentary car wash as well as a complimentary vacuum for your car.
Fast, convenient, and always transparent. Toyota of Cedar Park, built for you.
Welcome back. Those of you tuning in to their first broadcast on Twitch, a presentation of the NBA G League. As many as 6 games a week will be with our partners on Twitch. Next time the Austin Spurs are at home, well, that's just 2 days from today. Sunday afternoon will be over on NBA TV. Austin Spurs will welcome the Cleveland Cavaliers affiliate, the Canton Charge, to town. Head coach Nate Ranking brings his men to face the Spurs for the first time this year. This is the second of 4 meetings between these two clubs. Just like their parent organizations, they share the Southwest Division in their respective leagues. Now the difference, the San Antonio Spurs own the Austin Spurs outright, whereas the Houston Rockets were one of the first team years ago to adopt a new hybrid affiliation where they would own and operate the front office of RGV, but in terms of, or rather the players, but in terms of the ticket sales and everything else, that would be a third-party organization. We also see in soccer the Houston Dynamo working with the same group in South Texas for the RGV FC Toros. Back to basketball here tonight, and back within a single-digit deficit for RGV after the last score. White. Oh, a smooth stroke, nothing but nylon on the way through. Leiden, they're able to close quickly. Straight away, nobody picking up Victor. And there's something about standing straight away on that end of the floor. Perhaps the air conditioning is a tad high. And there's your first missed three-pointer of the night for Ledbetter after he made his first 3. Oh, by the way, Brima's just picked up his 3rd whistle of the first half. He'll debate it, but he'll have to come out. Matt Costello, the 2-way contract player for San Antonio and Austin, back on the floor. Vipers down by 12. Walker matched up Costello. 1-on-1. And Costello holds his ground. Rebound by Blossomgame. Ledbetter looking up ahead. No options yet. Lobs one in, and no. Fool me once, fool me twice, but it's that third time you're trying to fool the defense of the Vipers. They finally catch on to the alley-oop game. Forced inside. Kick back out. It would have been a long look right there for Weber. 3 to shoot. Weber finds space and able to get it up and over the outstretched right hand of Derrick White. RGV trying to come up with a stop, back within 10 now. And Blossom game, unable to connect. Oh, little crossover. And for Weber, a shame that one doesn't drop through after the show he just put on. And the Austin Spurs want to slow things down. Again, their head coach, Blake Ahern, his first year at the helm of Austin after a long career in this league. Last 2 years was coaching high school basketball to warm up his coaching chops. Costello with the left-handed finish. That's your former Gatorade High School Player of the Year in the state of Michigan. Again, Costello would go on to play for Michigan State and the Spartans. And a nice look again for the former Syracuse standout, Nick Johnson. Or pardon me, what am I saying? Tyler Lydon. Lydon now in his 8th game on the year, a 30% shooter from beyond the arc. On assignment from the Nuggets. There's Nick Johnson. And a foul on RGV. RJ Hunter will pick up the whistle. 1:07 remaining here in this opening half. Again, for those of you just joining us and unfamiliar with Twitch, go ahead and explore around the screen. You'll see some options on your left, including stats for both the Vipers on top as well as the Austin Spurs in the middle. That along with your scrolling scoreboard. First free throw for Costello. Won't go. And this free throw, again, a chance for the Spurs to reclaim the 10-point lead they had entering the second quarter. So Costello 1 for 2. Final minute of the opening half. Big man, Walker, goes in for a closer look before sharing the basketball. And just haven't been crisp passes here for RGV. 3 to shoot, just off balance. And they will never take a shot. We might go into the archive and just delete that possession. And Spurs will have a chance to grow this lead. 42 seconds left. Johnson looking for a screen from Costello. Instead, Ledbetter's called for a walk. Thought he kept that pivot foot down. And Blake Ahern is trying to politely discuss things with a nearby official. That being Charles Watson. That's where you don't make eye contact, but you talk to yourself just loud enough that he's within earshot. 10 seconds separate the two clocks. RGV just trying to make this a single-digit deficit before halftime. Morris into Walker. Big power dribble, late distribution, back to Morris. Oh, it looked promising. And now a foul on RGV. He's going to stop the clock and send us all the way to the opposite end for more free throws. So again, Jean-Charles, the second-year member of the Austin Spurs after playing 4 years in the top pro league in France. That's his first free throw on the year. And nice job by the big man. 12-point lead with 12.5 seconds to go before halftime. Stick around. Our David Christopher will try to catch up with one of the two head coaches. Stripped away Ledbetter. A foot race with the clock to beat. Out of the hand in time. Oh, Jeff Ledbetter. Giving out some early holiday gifts. Beats the buzzer. And Austin will go to the locker room with a 14-point lead. He was more worried about that expiring clock than the defense. They will review, just out of habit, that final shot. And we are going to have a chance to talk to visiting head coach Matt Brazzi, as he is now with our David Christopher. David?
I'm with Matt Brazzi, head coach of the Vipers. Coach, you guys had the win last night at home, had to travel today, come out to the sluggish kind of first quarter, but then kind of clawing your way back. Derrick White had the monster second quarter. What's your thoughts about the first quarter, first half?
Yeah, we just need to pick up our energy. We turned the ball over a lot. We didn't get back in defense transition, so that's where we're at right now, and try and clean it up at the half.
It's the very first broadcast of the NBA G League on Twitch tonight. Any thoughts about that and the popularity of NBA G League?
No, it's good for the league. It's a new platform to be seen on, so everything that helps the league grow is good.
Very good. Good luck in the second half. All right, it's time for our sponsor spotlight of the game, brought to you by Call Fire.
Welcome to our sponsor spotlight of the game, brought to you by Call Fire. I am here with Julie Herrera, the dealer principal of Toyota of Cedar Park. Congratulations on being our sponsor spotlight of the game.
Thank you, thank you. Glad to be here, and we're enjoying it so far.
Now, this season, you all have banners all over the stadium and car displays both inside and outside. Tell me what it means for your organization to partner with the Spurs.
Let me tell you, it means a lot to us. We knew immediately when we came into this market that we wanted to be a part of the Austin Spurs organization. What they stand for is a lot about what our team at Toyota Cedar Park stands for. We wanted the presence here with our vehicles. We believe in Toyota products, and we knew that if we invested in this with the Austin Spurs, that it would be a great fit for our company.
I love that. You know, Spurs are synonymous with hard work and ethics, and when organizations partner with that, it's kind of, they get a little bit of that rub-off, if you will. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen, we take our business seriously over at Toyota Cedar Park. I've got a group of 155 very dedicated employees to the Leander and Cedar Park area, and we try to do things right. We're not trying to be like your regular car dealership out there. If you'll notice our facility, our commercials, our staff, it's character, and it's a lot like the Austin Spurs and the Spurs organization.
Are you telling me that you pound the rock like the Spurs?
Let me tell you what we do. We forecast, we plan, we think, we've got our goals set, and we do a lot of things in the community because we just don't want to sell you one car. We want to sell you and your family cars for life, and that's what we do.
I love that. It's about community and community building. Now, tonight is the Season of Giving game, and you all are a part of that sponsor. So you all have purchased the uniforms that are here tonight, and those are going to be a silent auction. We can see those uniforms behind us. But besides that, you guys have something even more planned than that. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing at halftime.
Sure. So in the spirit of giving at Christmas time, we wanted to be a part of tonight with the United Way. Again, I mentioned I had 155 employees. I'm very, very proud of these guys. They got together and decided that we wanted to be a part of the United Way of Williamson County. The employees are donating tonight right at $40,000 donation to the United Way. And we selected the United Way because they really do a lot in this community. The dollars stay in this community. Again, it wasn't Toyota donating this money. It wasn't Julie Herrera donating this money. It was the 155 employees that work for Toyota of Cedar Park. That's the spirit of giving, and we wanted to be a part of that.
Wow, that says a lot about your organization and about the the compassion of your employees. That's really a wonderful, wonderful thing. You guys are going to be presenting that check at halftime, is that right?
We will be. We will be. So at halftime, we'll walk out on the court. I'll have my general sales manager, Gary Clifton, with me, our marketing director, Julie Chisholm. This group of people, I'm blown away. When we came into the market to open Toyota Cedar Park 8 months ago, we had over 2,500 applicants that wanted to work for Toyota of Cedar Park. We hand-selected 155, and I told my team, I said, I want you to pick people with good character. I can teach anybody how to sell a car, and I can teach anybody how to service a car. You can't teach character, and again, it was a natural fit, the United Way, the Austin Spurs, Toyota Cedar Park. I think we're clearly aligned with how we like to do business, and we're excited to be a part of this.
Sounds like a match made in heaven. Now, let us know any specials or anything for any of the folks that are watching tonight.
Listen, we've got a lot going on at Toyota. Right now is December. Everybody knows it's Toyotathon. Toyotathon is on. I've got over 700 new and used cars on our lot. Make me an offer and we're going to sell you a car. But come see us. Come see me in my service department. We've got over 45 service bays available for you. My staff is amazing. And if you guys come in, ask for me and I'll get you a free oil change. How's that sound?
I love that. Right. Free oil change for everybody. So tonight's broadcast, first ever broadcast on Twitch. Mm-hmm. This is groundbreaking, and your brand is going to be on that. Are you familiar with Twitch, or what does that mean for you guys?
I'll tell you what. I got a Twitch right here in my eye. I have no idea what Twitch is, but it sounds amazing. We're excited about the exposure and any kind of forum where we can get out there and the Spurs can get out there. People need to know what's happening in this community. There's a heck of a lot going on here. We're exploding. Everybody knows that, and it's just a fun time right now.
Thank you so much, Julie. This has been our sponsor spotlight of the game, brought to you by Toyota of Cedar Park.
Follow the latest NBA prospects with the NBA G League app. With custom news feeds, highlights, and more, it's all you need to keep up with the game. Download for free from the App Store. Welcome to NBA G League Weekly. I'm Brandon Wellington, and this is Team Spotlight. Greensboro, North Carolina is a city rich in basketball tradition, hosting so many NCAA postseason games that it's affectionately known as Tournament Town. It seemed only fitting the NBA G League would travel down Tobacco Road and place a professional basketball team there. The Greensboro Swarm started play in 2016 and are owned by the Charlotte Hornets. The Swarm plays in a new 30,000 square foot building on the Coliseum grounds called the Field House at Greensboro Coliseum. The Swarm are looking to build upon a successful inaugural year. This season, the team is off to an exciting start with the addition of Hornets two-way player and former University of North Carolina star guard, Marcus Page. And get this, the Swarm will host USA basketball for some international hoops. The Fieldhouse at Greensboro Coliseum hosts the USA World Cup qualifying game between the United States and Mexico on November 26th. Team USA will be comprised of primarily NBA G League players and coached by former NBA head coach Jeff Van Gundy. There's great basketball being played in Tournament Town, and the NBA G League is happy to have a home in Greensboro. That's going to do it for Team Spotlight. I'm Brandon Wellington, and thanks for checking out NBA G League Weekly.
Here, in this league, we're not okay with strong. We go stronger. We don't settle for fast. We go faster. We don't want next. We want next level. Here, we go all out. Because we're all in. This is our league. And here, we don't go for good. We go for great.
Take a look at some of the stats that stand out from the opening half as we welcome you back inside the HEB Center in Cedar Park, Texas. We're about a half hour north of Austin and another hour north of San Antonio. As Spurs and Vipers colliding tonight, Spurs have not trailed. In fact, the only time we've been tied was the opening moments of this ball game. A 14-point lead. Jeff Ledbetter with the steal at the end, and the buzzer beater would stretch it to a 4-point advantage. Ledbetter with those 3 3-pointers, 3 of the team's 5 early on. Take a look back at some of the key moments from those first 24 minutes of play. Again, Lincoln Rose with you here on Twitch, as hopefully you've been enjoying this one so far. Early 2 points for Briante Weber. Spurs able to answer with their own assignee from San Antonio, and Derrick White. Just off the mark was White that last time, looking for the block. Weber with a great crossover would not be able to hit his shot, but later on we'd see the Syracuse standout Leiden connect. This is your final play of the first half. Able to get it out of his hand before the lights lit up. And Ledbetter adding a steal and 2 more points to his first half resume as the Austin Spurs leading 60-46 here at the half. Step aside. When we come back, we'll hope to have David catch up with Spurs head coach Blake Ahern.
There's a reason this season can't come soon enough. Why NBA history is always being rewritten. And why this game is about more than just basketball. There's a reason this fall is going to be hotter than the summer. Why 2 seconds can feel like an eternity. And why any city can become the center of the universe.
Here, in this league, we're not okay with strong. We go stronger. We don't settle for fast. We go faster. We don't want next. We want next level. Here, we go all out. Because we're all in. This is our league. And here, we don't go for good. We go for great.
I'm with Blake Ahern, head coach of the Austin Spurs. Coach, you guys had the victory on this court Sunday. You guys have had some rest. Everybody's healthy. Let me know your thoughts about the first half.
I thought our first half was great. Our effort, our energy, activity on the defensive end has made our offense a lot easier. So energy and effort was really good that half.
Derrick White, healthy, had the monster second quarter. What's that mean for your squad when he's back healthy again?
It's always good to have good players. That makes everybody look good. But he's done a great job here, as well as our other guys. And you know, we do a good job playing team basketball, and when we do that, we're pretty successful.
Vipers are the division-leading team right now. You guys are 4 games back. How important is it for you guys to get this victory tonight?
I mean, every win's important. I think it's important to get a good start here to the second half, not let them build any momentum, and you know, we'll just go from there.
Twitch is a platform that the NBA G League is on tonight for the very first time. What's that mean for you and really the NBA G League as a whole and the kind of popularity?
It's just, I mean, the league's growing so much. Everything is bigger and better and always helps everybody in this league.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half. All right, back to our voice of the Austin Spurs, Lincoln Rose.
All right, thank you very much, David. As Blake Ahern, obviously Twitch, not around when he was a rookie in this league. When he was first playing, there were no affiliations one-on-one with franchises early on. We do want to remind you, I will throughout the game mention that somebody is either on assignment from the Rockets, the Nuggets, or the Spurs, or perhaps a two-way contract player. If a player does not have one of those 2 contracts with the NBA, they are fair game, not just for the Rockets and the Spurs, but any team in the NBA can sign one of the remaining players who is not in one of those unique contracts. So that's how it would differ from affiliated minor league baseball where all of the players for a minor league team has contracts directly with the major league team for which it plays. But again, a little bit more unique arrangement here in the NBA G League with the NBA. Glad to have you with us tonight here on Twitch. We are inside the HEB Center in Cedar Park. 60-46 our score. Derrick White on assignment from the San Antonio Spurs in his third G League game overall this year. Again, it's his rookie year, drafted by the Spurs this past summer. He has 18 points, 3 rebounds, and is 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. Jeff Ledbetter off the bench, 11 points with 3 3-pointers in those final 2 points of the first half. 2 other Austin Spurs in double figure scoring, and Jerron Blossom game, of course, on the receiving end of a couple of alley-oops. And Livio Jean-Charles with 10 points of his own off the bench tonight. Spurs are shooting 62%, RGV shooting 52%. Just one player in double figures for the visiting Vipers tonight. 13 points for Briante Weber on 6 of 8 shooting. 4 different Vipers have connected from beyond the arc, as they are 4 of 13 from downtown. Spurs are 5 of 11. And we're just about set to go for the second half. And I think we had a clock issue here to start the second half. Again, most broadcasters like to tell you what color uniforms both teams are playing, but I figure it's more fun if you're just left guessing the whole game. Morris for 3 off the mark. Costello with the better position and the rebound. Again, Costello tonight off of the bench with his 3rd rebound. Blossom game. Already some highlight moments early on in this one. Hanlon back to Jerron. Poked away. And now the other way. Hilliard gets back defensively in time. It cannot alter the shot as the steal and the score both go the way of Briante Weber. R.J. Hunter will pick up his 2nd personal. First team foul of the 3rd quarter for RGV. Again, after 5 fouls, you go to the free throw line. Driving, Blossom game went right into that 7-foot tree in Hartenstein. Hunter for 3. Won't go. Hartenstein taps it away, but right into the opposing arms of Hilliard. Hilliard also a 2-way contract player. That's one San Antonio Spur to another. Both signing 2-way contracts this offseason. Weber into Hartenstein, or pardon me, into Leiden. Now it's Hartenstein going down low to get that ball. Leiden with the rebound, poked away, and finally kicked out. A little breathing room for Hunter. Won't fall. And after all of that, RGV empty-handed, down by 14. Costello. Go ahead and give Blossom game the assist on the rebound and the tap. Again, RGV has only lost 4 of their 18 games this year in the G League. They fell 111-104 on their home court to Austin. We'll see these teams meet again February 10th in RGV and then back here in Cedar Park on March 2nd. Hartenstein at the line. Able to make the front end. He's a 72% free throw shooter, as you see the foul there. And makes them both. Hartenstein tonight, 2 for 3 from the charity stripe. Again, Nick Johnson, who has played for both of these organizations. Weber. And that was a lot of something, but not something the Vipers wanted. As RGV with another turnover in this ball game. 15 turnovers for the visitors today. It's led to 18 points for Austin, including those last 2 points of the first half. Hilliard tries to back his way in, a little step around. Leiden winds up with the loose ball right in his lap. Hunter slips it into gear against Blossom Game. Access denied by Jerron Blossom Game. Hilliard for the open three. Good. So Blossom Game, the block on one end, Hilliard with the three-pointer on the other. Things clicking for the Austin Spurs here in the third quarter. Their lead is 17. And a feed in to the big man, Hartenstein, the 19-year-old. Youngest man on either roster. Again, taken 43rd overall this past summer with the Rockets, who had him work out during the summer league with them. And Costello's pass, fortunate for him, tapped away because Nick Johnson was breaking away from the pass. So a fortunate break for Austin with 5 to shoot. In our officials tonight, Jason Goldenberg, Danica Mosher, and Charles Watson. Charles there at the bottom of your screen. Pull up long 2 for Hanlon off the mark. And Hilliard just had his hand up, right place, right time. Forces the turnover. Johnson, feed to Costello. Quick hands, stripping away by Weber. And Morris throws it up, finds the angle off the glass with the little kiss. Spurs still working with a baker's dozen advantage here midway in the third quarter on their home court. Hilliard, last second dish, give the assist to Hilliard. And Blossom Game has been on the receiving end of all sorts of pretty dimes here tonight. Weber baseline. Tried to suck in the defense. Morris will stop his dribble outside the arc. And he'll get a foul called against Austin. Bailed out there. Really had no place to go. Well, we remind you the custom uniforms for the Austin Spurs tonight. All this is part of the Season of Giving presented by Toyota of Cedar Park. It benefits the United Way of Williamson County when these uniforms are auctioned off after the game. You see the foul there. And a big thanks to PetSmart as well, providing 500 stuffed animals for the first 500 kids to come through the gates today. And the second free throw rattles out, but RGV winds up with it. Leiden. And Morris able to find his open teammate. Leiden with his third trip, make it his second triple now of the ball game. Oh, nice feed. Hilliard ran right into Hartenstein, who held his ground. Nice job by the big man. Got an official timeout midway through the third quarter. Austin Spurs leading by 12, 69-57, as the top 2 teams in the Southwest Division of the NBA G League collide tonight on Twitch.
There are a lot of car dealerships out there, a lot that'll do or say anything to get you in the door. Not here. Here, we're about customers, not gimmicks, and building relationships. I don't want to just sell you one car. I want to sell you and your family cars for life. That's what we've done for 4 generations. And for me, it's not just the right way to do business, it's the only way. I'm Julie Herrera, and this is Toyota of Cedar Park.
Well, the Spurs led by 14 at the half. Their lead right now just trimmed down to 12. Nice third quarter so far for Briante Weber. The Spurs have continued to play well overall. And we've seen some positive moments for the rookie lately, for Isaiah Hartenstein of the Houston Rockets. So again, 69-57 our score with 6:33 to go here in the third quarter. Still plenty of time in this ball game for RGV to mount a comeback. Just about no lead is safe here in the NBA G League. RGV, your top scoring team in the entire league this year. Top rebounding team as well. Just got off to a slow start today. And looking for a timeout, granted the timeout was Tony Roten. A rare look at Tony as he got down to save that ball. 24-year-old former Washington Husky. And we'll step aside as well. 69-57, 6:20 still to go in the third quarter. You're watching the NBA G League live tonight on Twitch.
Here, in this league, we're not okay with strong. We go stronger. We don't settle for fast. We go faster. We don't want next. We want next level. Here, we go all out. Because we're all in. This is our league. And here, we don't go for good. We go for great.
Well, Tony Roten seeing his first minutes of this game. Technically less than a minute so far, involved in this early scramble for the loose ball. As Ledbetter matched up with him, Roten was able to fall on it, call a timeout. And we now come out of that timeout by the visiting Vipers of Rio Grande Valley. Roten back with the basketball inside the paint. Roten with the finish down the left hand. Tony Roten. Both of his parents went to Washington, where he played his college ball. Mom and dad were both athletes. Dad would play football in the NFL as well. Ledbetter from the elbow. And let's see if RGV can put together a run. Trailing by 10. A little hesitation, looking for help. Jackson putting that spin to use. Into Hartenstein, he'll get the hoop, he'll get the foul. Free throw coming up for Isaiah Hartenstein. Another look. The assist from Demetrius Jackson. And just a two-point play for Hartenstein. Unable to hit on the free throw. Hilliard looking for help with a screen up top. Gets it from Brima, playing with 3 fouls. Hilliard. Hartenstein held his ground. Hanlon's your open man and does not get the shot out in time. RGV forces the shot clock violation. Julian Washburn back on for Blake Ahern's Spurs. Olivia Hanlon will take a seat. So Washburn, Brima, Hilliard, Ledbetter, as well as Livio Jean-Charles. You have 3 7-footers on the floor right now, including Brima, who just forced the travel. Five to play here in quarter number 3. And Hartenstein had a handful of jersey of Brima's called for the foul. That is the 4th whistle on Hartenstein. Again, you get 6, just like in the NBA. To shoot for the Spurs. Hilliard called for a walk, yes. Took some steps on the spin. In Roten directs traffic. We mentioned what his parents were able to accomplish athletically. Failed to mention that his aunt was one of just the first 3 females to play for the Globetrotters, as Roten well off the mark. Hilliard all the way to the baseline. Plenty of time to shoot. Nice crisp passes around the perimeter. Jean-Charles has the ball stripped away. Quick hands by RGV and Demetrius Jackson. And Hilliard trying to get it right back. Morris mindful of the timeline. Nine to shoot. Leiden pulls the trigger off the side of the iron, and that ball able to be saved, but back over to Austin. This is a 5-on-4 advantage for the Spurs after the Vipers went into the crowd to save that ball. And the odd man to the advantage of the Spurs was Hilliard with the 3. Saving a basketball to the other team, not always your best way of going about things. Sometimes better just to let it go. Morris steps past 3 defenders. Brima, oh, like a middle blocker in volleyball. A 2-handed swat. It'll stay with the Vipers. Last touch by Amita. But access declined. Nope. And let's see if we have free throws coming up. It will be a couple of free throws. 4th team foul on the Spurs this quarter. A couple of fouls now on Ledbetter. And again, Roten, who did not play the first half, has been in the past 3 minutes here for RGV. And first free throw for the left-hander, a 54% free throw shooter this year. And let's see if we have an over-the-back call against the Vipers. We do. As foul is on Chris Walker, his 2nd on the former McDonald's All-American. Walker in his 3rd year with RGV, one of the longer tenures with a specific G League team for a professional. Former Florida Gator. Jean-Charles and Brima, teammates with the Yukon Huskies. Now teammates with Austin. And a walk is called on Johnson. They're saying that left pivot foot made some movement. 10-point ball game with 2:54 to go here in the third quarter. Walker looking for a little screen and roll. Oh, behind the back dish to Walker. Kick out Roten. And Roten off the mark. And, well, a lot of chaos in the end. The whistle goes against Austin. I've seen several men tonight go into some traffic not knowing what they were going to do with the ball. And on occasion, a whistle will help them out. Chris Walker, a 63% free throw shooter, 22-year-old. Spent 2 years at Florida before declaring. And for those of you tuning on Twitch tonight, you know that's not the first missed free throw by these two teams. Spurs lead down to 9. Ledbetter pulls the trigger looking for another three. Hasn't hit in a while. Roten trying to do it all by himself past two 7-footers. Not going to happen. Johnson the other way with the easy two. Johnson's pursuit of the rim a lot easier than that of Roten a moment ago. Weber matched up with Johnson. Jackson with 3 to shoot. Throws it into traffic. And there was 1 second left on the shot clock when that ball went out of bounds. Doesn't matter. It is Austin Spurs basketball. Ledbetter off the screen, and a reach-around foul by Hunter. And it'll just be the 4th team foul on RGV. No free throws yet. So Julian Washburn will send it back in. He and Nick Johnson, both back with the Spurs after a year away. Washburn thought about the three. Into Blossom game. Pass was a bit low. Drawn, able to adjust. Well, he was being guarded by the 6'2" Weber. Blossom game had the advantage there at 6'7", and an offensive foul on RGV has Ledbetter on the floor. Ledbetter's right here. And you get the elbow right to the face. They will review this for a flagrant foul. So the two sides will go to their benches. Briante Weber has picked up a common foul, and let's see if they upgrade it to a flagrant. Again, our officials over at the scorers table taking a look at things. Jason Goldenberg, Danica Mosher, both at the monitor. I don't know how clear cut it'll be. I know you haven't seen the replays yet after that first look we gave you. So after Danica Mosher had a look with Jason Goldenberg, now Charles Watson will look at it with the crew chief. We'll see if all their opinions agree. And we'll get our call here. And after seeing this angle, they are going to stay with the original call of just a common foul, no flagrant. But it is an offensive foul to turn it over to the Spurs. Inside the final minute of the third quarter. Spurs led by 14 at the half. Nick Johnson takes this lead now to 15. Their largest lead of the night. Weber able to hold off Blossom Game for the finish. And for Briante Weber, that's 15 points now. He is still the only Viper in double-figure scoring. Olivio Jean-Charles has 12, one of 4 Spurs in double figures, still led by Derrick White, who has not scored this half. Had 18 in the first half. White still on the bench. Straight away. And will not fall. Offensive rebound and put back good for Chris Walker, his first 2 points of the ballgame. He's played over 14 minutes tonight. Ledbetter right past the defense, and this will stay with Austin. Spurs will get the final look and a technical now on RGV. Well, that's not going to help things for the visitors. Down by 13. Austin can shoot the free throws and also hold for the final shot. Nick Johnson good on the technical free throw. 7.8 seconds remain here in the third quarter. And for the Spurs, ideally, you take most of this time down and get a quality look. I say that. That was not the plan. Ledbetter's 3 off the mark. Jean-Charles' putback won't go, and now 2 to shoot. Roten for his own buzzer beater. Won't fall. So the Spurs lead at 14 going into the final 12 minutes of regulation. Hope you've been enjoying this one here on Twitch. We head into the fourth quarter when we come back to Cedar Park, Texas.
Fans, we apologize for any inconvenience, but it seems that we are still having some logistical issues with the turkey dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we are experiencing technical difficulties regarding the turkey dinner giveaway. We'll update you shortly.
Follow the latest NBA prospects with the NBA G League app. With custom news feeds, highlights, and more, it's all you need to keep up with the game. Download for free from the App Store.
You take a look at the stats through the first 3 quarters of play as RGV played Austin even in that third quarter, 21 points apiece, our lowest scoring quarter so far. After the Spurs led 60-46 at halftime. Spurs with the basketball to start here in this final quarter of play. Spurs have led by as many as 17, have not trailed, nor have we been tied since opening tip. Blossom game off the mark. Olivia Jean-Charles with an offensive rebound. Shot clock back to 14. And the follow-up as Blossom game above the rim with the rebound and putback. Drawn Blossom game now with 16 points, your second leading scorer in this ball game, to go with his 6 rebounds. Weber picked up by Hanlon. Jackson open. And it's a long 2. They'll review it later. But for now, it's a 2-pointer for Jackson. Again, Washburn, who would be a starter for Austin if Derrick White wasn't in town from San Antonio. And Olivier Hanlon chimes in with his first 3-pointer of the night, and those are his first 3 points. He's played 21 minutes this evening. And Roten's called for a walk. They've been consistent with that on both ends. So Hartenstein is back on, the Rockets rookie for RGV. And Hilliard back in for Austin. There's Olivier Hanlon, who hit the 3 the last time down. Blossom game. His man fell down. Goes around Hartenstein, and Hartenstein got the rebound. Roten, no sir. Jean-Charles, the other way, Hilliard spins into traffic, kicks out. Hanlon looking for his second, got it. Oh, a block on one end, a triple on the other. And the Spurs lead is at 20 for a first time tonight. And again, the air conditioning vents apparently blowing a little too hard. This is his last touch by Weber, who's frustrated that ball didn't nick Hilliard on its way out. Spurs are 18 of 16 from beyond the arc tonight. Hanlon will settle for a long 2. Hartenstein, hard to miss, was wide open. Jackson straight away, and Hunter able to connect for the 3. As RJ Hunter tonight, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. He's got 10 points, becomes the 3rd visitor in double-digit scoring. They're being led by Briante Weber's 15. Hartenstein has 14 of his own. Hilliard pulls a 3 right back for Austin. As Hilliard now with 9 points of his own off the bench tonight. And they're going to get the contact. And they're going to count the basket. So just one free throw coming up for RJ Hunter. And a 3-point play for RJ Hunter. Was a 20-point deficit. Right now it's 17. Ledbetter trying to thread the needle. A turnover, back over to the Vipers, see if they can string together some points. Make it interesting down the stretch. And just a turnover. RGV never got a shot on that possession. Blossom Game leads Hilliard. Sucks in an extra defender, and that leaves an open Livio Jean-Charles on the wing. A long two for Jean-Charles. Leiden trying to lose Blossom Game. 8 to shoot. With a hand in the face, three-pointer off the mark from Hunter. As Ledbetter did just enough to interfere with that shot. Hilliard goes right at the 7-footer and wins that battle. Opposite end, transition. The finish, no. As Hunter couldn't get a friendly roll. 21-point lead for the Spurs, still looking to grow it. And Hilliard's going to be the most recent man called for walking. They're going to be so confused if they get the call up to the NBA. And they'll call Morris for throwing that ball away. Sends us to a timeout, 7:09 to go. Well, the Austin Spurs have been able to add to their lead, a 21-point advantage at home, looking for back-to-back victories on their home court, heading into Sunday's matchup with Canton. 7:09 still to go in regulation, and the Spurs have yet to trail tonight here in the NBA G League on Twitch.
this league, we're not okay with strong. We go stronger. We don't settle for fast. We go faster. We don't want next. We want next level. Here, we go all out. Because we're all in. This is our league. And here, we don't go for good. We go for great.
There's such a fine line between being good and being great that you can't take chances. The work you put in on the court, the work you put in the weight room, what you eat, what you drink, you have to be ready. That's gotta be quicker. Yes, that's perfect. Nice, get up. You have to do whatever it takes.
Fourth quarter underway here in Cedar Park, Texas, home of the Austin Spurs, your owned and operated NBA G League affiliate of the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs won the league title back in 2012. RGV almost captured another league title last year. Came up short in a three-game series with the Raptors 9-05. 2-1. Demetrius Jackson, a nice start coming out of the timeout for the Vipers, who trail by 19 now. Ledbetter trying to get back on track. Ledbetter was 3 for 3 to start this ball game from beyond the arc. Since then, he is 0 for 4. And Hartenstein, again, Shows off one of the benefits of being 7 feet tall. Kick out, Hilliard from the corner. Looking for the open Jean Charles. He's 1 for 6. Make it 2 for 7 this year. Not quite a sharpshooter, but he'll take those 3 points. And it's back to a 20-point lead for Austin. Leiden feeds Hunter. And Hunter goes into too much traffic. Leiden, though, on the weak side, able to clean things up. Nice job. Spurs may try to slow things down a tad, limit the number of possessions remaining. And they have stopped play. They need to mop up a spot in front of the RGV bench. Well, if you're a Rockets fan, much better news in the NBA as opposed to the G League right now. The Rockets are up on the Spurs, 38-21. Still early in the second quarter. So Rockets off to a much higher scoring start. Rockets G League affiliate here tonight. Still looking for its first lead. Right now down by 18. And on defense, Hilliard just blows right around the defender. Just trying to force it in there, but it's last touch by Austin. Stoppage of play will allow Washburn and Costello to come on for Austin. Nick Johnson will also come on. Hilliard with the rebound. Now out to Washburn. Ledbetter among 3 red jerseys, out to Hilliard. 5 minutes to go in regulation. Costello still 8 to shoot. Finally, it's Washburn that pulls the trigger. A strong bounce off the back iron. Oh, stripped away by Hilliard. Costello rewards him. Again, one of your two-way contract players showing off tonight. Gets the turnover and the finish.
There's a reason this season.
And the Spurs have their largest lead tonight. 22 points with 4:49 to go in regulation.
There's a reason this season can't come soon enough. Why NBA history is always being rewritten. And why this game is about more than just basketball. There's a reason this fall is going to be hotter than the summer. Why 2 seconds can feel like an eternity. And why any city can become the center of the universe.
This is the largest lead of the night for the Spurs, up by 22. Hartenstein showed some flashes, but it's another 7-footer showing off his range, and Livio Jean-Charles, just his second three-pointer on the year. And you'll see a little bit of a highlight reel from Hilliard, his last 2 buckets, including the steal that helped set it all up. Costello giving it right back to number 24. Spurs are shooting 58%. RGV shooting just 47%. Spurs have hit 11 triples to just 6 for RGV here tonight. And for those of you teaching free throw clinics on Twitch, the Spurs are shooting 83%, 10 of 12 from the charity stripe, while RGV shooting 9 of 16. Spurs have 5 players in double-figure scoring. They are still led by Derrick White, whose minutes have been non-existent here in the second half. You know, he injured his wrist earlier this season. We did see him take a shot off that wrist earlier this game, but we'll end the speculation right there. May simply be trying to limit his minutes to return to San Antonio. You never know. We'll know on Sunday, perhaps. Hardy in the ball game. And quickly, right on cue, the rebound for Kevin Hardy. Hardy defending Johnson at the moment, now defending Washburn. Last time I had a chance to see Kevin, he was playing college ball in the Southland Conference over in Louisiana for McNeese, the alma mater of Joe Dumars. McNeese is in Lake Charles, Louisiana, just across the Texas-Louisiana border. It's not too far from Beaumont, Texas, where Kendrick Perkins grew up, and we will see Kendrick Perkins on Sunday with the Canton Charge, the former NBA champion. And that'll be a 2 o'clock Central Time tip on NBA TV on Sunday between Austin and Canton. Tonight, here on Twitch, the Spurs and the Vipers. Not expecting to be that wide open. Shane Richards also here getting some late minutes. Young man out of Manhattan. Averaging about 8 minutes a ball game, just his 9th appearance this year. So we see Richards and Hardy along the perimeter. And the Spurs, meanwhile, have gone to their bench. Tucker Haymond out of Western Michigan. He lobs it into Brima, and Brima will finally just flush it through. Hartenstein was not interested in getting involved there. Too far underneath the basket. Rebound underneath by Victor. Tap back around the rim. Vipers still have the ball. And this will lead to a foul on Daniel Alexander. Another name we're saying for the first time today. Daniel Alexander played for Grand Canyon over in Arizona, made the team via tryout. In fact, Grand Canyon, more recently, Dan Marley has been the head coach of that Division I basketball program over in the WAC. Before that, RGV head coach Matt Brazzi was on the coaching staff. One more free throw coming up. This is the part of the game where it's a 24-point lead, now 23-point ball game, so the broadcaster just dumps all sorts of information on you for all the players who are coming in for some cleanup minutes. Here's Alexander. Stripped away. And this should be an easy 2 for the Vipers. And basket will count for Tony Roten, who's back in. And the second generation Washington Husky will have a free throw to come as well. So a chance for a three-point play. Got it. 21-point ball game. And Ledbetter off the mark after making his first 3, 0 for his last 5. It has not held the Spurs back. And Alexander reaches in, almost had the steal, now does have it. And we've got a foul on the floor. And right now, Roten, did he lose a tooth? Roten reaches out, and my guess is he'll be visiting the orthodontist in South Texas when they get home. That will not show up in the box score. Still has the tooth, and right there. Had Alexander fall down right on him. This arena does double for hockey as well. That's a little more common when we have the ice exposed. And Brima called for the foul. That's the 5th on Amita. Another Viper to introduce you to. That's Jorge de Paula from Sao Paulo, Brazil, the 21-year-old who spent the training camp with the Rockets after being undrafted, and Amita Brima has just fouled out of this ball game. His 6th. And he'll take a seat with 1:36 to go and a Spurs 20-point lead. And there's your first point for Jorge de Paula tonight. He's played, this is his 3rd game of the year, averaging a little under 3 minutes in each of those games. And I believe those are his first 2 professional points here in the States for the Brazilian. If I'm wrong and his family is on Twitch, feel free to let me know. Oh, Tucker Heyman. How about making his agility a 99 in the next 2K game? Inside 1:20. And both teams just looking to close things out on a positive note. And Jorge de Paula, who you'll recall has never missed a free throw in his G League career. And there's the first miss. Now 2 for 3. And just like that, goes from 100% to 66%. Now he's a career 75% free throw shooter. Heyman already 2 points, and he's now headed to the free throw line. That's the 5th team foul for RGV with 1 minute to go. That's his 3rd point and limited minutes off the bench here in the 4th quarter. And 4 points for Heyman. De Paula, the Brazilian, finds his open teammate. Give the assist to George. And the 3-pointer to Shane Richards. He's a 42% 3-point shooter coming into tonight. Heyman from 15, no. Inside 40 seconds. And a little floater is good for Julian Lewis. Lewis playing his 14th game on the year. Mentioned earlier, played his college ball here for the University of Texas before transferring to Fresno State. And shot clock down to 9. RGV should be getting this ball back, as there's 9 seconds between the 2 clocks. And never got the shot off in time. It's back over to the visitors. So RGV will be picking up its 5th loss of the year, going to 14-5 now, barring an amazing finish here in the final 9.8 seconds. 2 of those 5 losses will come against the Austin Spurs, who will improve to 10-7. These will remain your top 2 teams in the Southwest Division. And RGV came into tonight the number 2 team in the Western Conference overall. Spurs were on the outside of the playoff picture at the 5th team in the West. But they'll help out their cause, closing out 2017. Another home game on Sunday. We'll see you on NBA TV for that one. But it's been a fun one here tonight on Twitch. Austin Spurs top RGV 111-95. In a moment, we'll try to catch up with David Christopher and one of our top players tonight for the Austin Spurs. Some of the key moments throughout this ball game. Again, you saw the 19-year-old rookie Hartenstein for the Rockets on display tonight for RGV. Hilliard, big factor, both scoring as well as forcing turnovers in this one. The Austin Spurs never trailed, led by as many as again, in a moment here, we'll have a chance to catch up with David Christopher and one of our top players in this ball game. But 111-95, your final score here in Cedar Park. Spurs have won their last 2, both at home. This is part of a 4-game homestand. Let's go ahead and check in with David Christopher and somebody who's a little bit taller than David.
I'm with our player of the game, Livio John Charles. Congratulations, number 1. You guys had the 4-game skid. People were unhealthy, a lot of travel. Now everybody's back healthy. What's it mean to get a team win tonight, your 2nd in a row against division leader?
First of all, it was a good win against Santa Cruz, and he helped us to stop the losing streak. And now we're back in track, and we concentrate. We got everybody back, and that's why we're winning tonight.
So tonight we're part of history. First NBA G League on Twitch platform. What does that mean about the popularity of that sport? What's that mean for you to have your sport take off like this?
I mean, we can all see this, like how G League is growing and taking everything. So it's good for every player in USA, and that's good.
Hey, congratulations on the win. We'll see you on Sunday, okay? Take care. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. That was Livio Jean-Charles with our David Christopher. Again, Livio, one of the 2 UConn Huskies playing above the rim tonight. Livio in his 2nd year with the Austin Spurs, the former draft pick out of France, his home country by the San Antonio Spurs. You see some of the final numbers there. Spurs shooting 58% when this one closed out, 11 3-pointers, and just about everything going the way of the Spurs. Even battle rebounds overall. Turnovers not shown there, but you have to imagine the Spurs playing a little bit cleaner basketball by the end of the night. So the Austin Spurs have taken 2 of the 4 meetings this year with RGV. These 2 teams will again meet February 10th in South Texas, and they'll meet back here in Central Texas on March 2nd for their final regular season meeting. So for our director, Robert Calder, and Zodiac Sports production side here on Twitch, thanks to David Christopher, our sideline reporter, and everybody involved in bringing you this first broadcast across the Twitch platform representing the NBA G League. Austin Spurs get the win. 111-95 over RGV is your final. I'm Lincoln Rose. Good night from Cedar Park, Texas.